Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm going to be reviewing From Lukov With Love by Mariana Zapata. I have a great love for her, and I think this is my favorite one. I'm rereading Wait For It to confirm. This Colty and Wait For It. Oh, the top. From Lukov With Love follows Jasmine Santos, who is a figure skater, and then her partner pretty much stabbed her in the back, and because she was kind of notoriously difficult, just like as a person, she hadn't found another partner. So after 17 years of skating, she's at this place now where she's faced with either retirement or going into teaching younger ice skating students. But then she's offered kind of like this deal of a lifetime with a longtime rival whose partner wants to take a break for a season. In the world of figure skating, if you don't know, just like a 1-year training thing, especially with pairs, that's like not enough time. Like you have to learn how to skate with them, how their holds are different than like your past partner's one. Like it takes more than a year. But the opportunity is like a 1-year contract. And she just wants to make something of herself after 17 years of working at something and kind of having no accolades to show for it. It's disheartening, especially like when her mother had sacrificed so much to get her ice time and training, and she just wants something to show for it. So despite that it's only a 1-year deal and they are extremely pressed for time, she takes him on it. And these two, oh my god, the banter. This is a slow burn, rivals to friends to lovers or enemies to lovers. It's just fantastic though. Like the character dynamics and importantly, character development. There's not a static one in here. That's something that Mariana always, I think, does very well. She creates really well-rounded, dynamic characters, and she does that with them maybe not being the most likable. Sure, they have like this one like heart-pulling thing about them, like they can be arrogant as the day is long or just a pain in the ass, just really difficult, but they like absolutely don't stand for seeing young other girls being picked on, like younger skaters and stuff, that's Jasmine. So she's kind of a hard ass, but you quickly learn to love her because she cares so much. And that's kind of why she's such a hard ass, is because she cares so much. I could go on and on telling you how much I love these characters. Ivan and Jasmine are everything. I love them. If you're new to my channel, that was my non-spoiler section. So this next part of the video is going to be me talking about like spoilers and details within the book. So if you haven't read it and you want to and you don't want to hear spoilers, now is your time to go and read it. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. You can find it there and read for free. And then come back and watch the rest when you did finish it, and we can just like gush about it in the comments because it's so good. So that's your final warning. Gonna talk spoilers. Going back and reading some of my comments from the first time I read it, I wrote, it's gonna take a lot for me to like him. And this was like, what, 20-something% into the book. I feel like with Wall of Winnipeg, which was my first, I don't know, the groveling kind of like helped with the turnaround for the assholery. It took me a long time to warm up to him, but when I did, such a good heart. Okay, so I loved her family's relationship in this. It's hard. Mariana Zapata is just great at it. She creates such great ancillary characters, like side characters, does a good job giving them enough meat so that they're not like a silhouette. I've really got to figure out a more eloquent way of saying that, but they felt well-rounded. They didn't feel like stick people. And you know what else I really loved beyond just her saying, oh, I want to win because I haven't before. It was comments like this. It's worth it if you're successful, not if you're not. And everything had been for nothing if I couldn't justify all my sacrifices anymore. She thought so much about the time that she had spent away from her family, like those kind of sacrifices. She just wanted to make them proud. I think that's really kind of what it boils down to. It was less about herself and more about like the sacrifices her family made beyond just the sacrifices she made. I think that was more her concern, and I caught that the second time around. Okay, now we're gonna get to the real reason. Beyond that, I just love a good slow burn. I love some banter. The reason this book has like 6 out of 5 stars is because it like personally hit home the relationship that she had with her dad. Like that scene at Olive Garden, like when she left and was like just crying out in a corner. There was so much with that theme of kind of like being a disappointment to a family member and then like not understanding you and coming to terms, not even like in a resigned way, just like kind of coming to the realization that they're never gonna understand me. That like doing something that you love and then still feeling like, even though this is this thing that, I mean, maybe like you're even meant to do, or even if it isn't, it's just this thing that you love, and then them just really digging their heels in to not understand, like almost like making the effort to not understand you. And here's a quote that kind of encapsulates that idea. Or maybe I finally just acknowledged how much my dad's beliefs and desires and actions affected me. But goddamn, it hurt. It sucked. I could win every competition this season and I would still be stupid, useless Jasmine to my dad. And that kind of was like this emotional catalyst for her to get to the point where she thought, I'm done. If he can't accept me for who I am, I can't force him to, and I'm not going to change my dreams for him. And this was something that was ongoing. This was like off the page for years, this thing happening. It's like it's an old wound that is, you know, still very much festering. And so it helped round her out as a character, and it helped kind of like make you understand the way that she thinks, because that kind of, it gets in your head. I mean, I don't care how hard-headed you are, how much you pretend like that kind of shit doesn't bother you. Like, I'm sure she probably did for a while. Like, it does. And it affects them. It affects them in their relationships, in how they think about themselves, in the way that they make and work on their goals, everything. Okay, I'm going to talk about the end, so really spoilers if you're hanging around anyway. Fair warning. When the fuck's his face, her last partner, back when Paul had ditched her, and he found out about it through, I think it was through his sister, about how Paul very much betrayed her. He had wanted to skate with her, right? And she like didn't ask him, and he was like, really, like his feelings were hurt. And even afterward, he still called Paul and basically like threatened to like fuck him up if he ever contacted Jasmine again. That was like after his feelings were hurt, and he kind of like decidedly became an asshole to her. Granted, it's kind of more the costume thing, but you know, they were very bantery. And not in like a nice way back then. So remember how I mentioned how like they're back and forth? It was like no one else, they couldn't do it with anyone else. Like they never quite dished it back like these two did. I found the quote that like perfectly explains it. You've been in my life for 13 years. How could you not think I don't care about you? We fuck around with each other because we both like it. Because there's nobody else to fuck around with that can handle it. So a question that I had this time around was, I didn't really understand why Ivan lied about only having like one season. Like it didn't make it more appealing for her. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe he just thought that it would like really crash and burn and be like miserable, and he could only stand her for that long. But like his whole thing was that he always like really respected her as a skater, and she's always been somewhat of a fixture in his life because his sister and she were so close. I don't know, I guess I just don't fully understand it. It's one of those things that was tacked on at the end that we were just so happy that they could skate longer than just that one season that I think I just went right by me. But yeah, what's your take on that? There's so much that I loved so much. Like all of the scenes where she was working like so hard, like when she was sick. Oh, the scene when she fell, and particularly when Ivan was talking about the scene when she fell, about how she was just like apologizing profusely. Why Jasmine's character works so well is it was show not tell. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. It wasn't her saying, I'm a hard worker. I will work through pain. I will work when I'm sick. It actually showed us her trying to do that. Like when she had injured herself, she was still trying to get up. We got to really like see how the character is without being told how the character is. And that's what works about these like longer spanning books. You take your time in getting to know the character, and then those ideas are reinforced by their actions. And that's a big component of why I like longer books and why I'm a fan of Mariana Zapata's books, because she's very good at that. She's good at creating character growth, which Jasmine had like the biggest glow up personality ever. She was just like a mean asshole in the beginning and kind of would take it out on anyone, which granted I like kind of hate people the same way, so I get it. But she actively made decisions, thought about things. She's like, how will this affect this person? This is not the person I want to be anymore. That was a thought that she had frequently. Like, this is what I used to do. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to, you know, she made conscious and active decisions to be and become the person she wanted to be. I really could spend the whole time talking about how much Ivan was just like such a good dude, which was like the biggest 180. That was a lot of head bobbing, but that was like the biggest 180 because I fully prepared to not even like his guts at all. Not even a little bit. And speaking of dynamic things, how everything was about winning for her. And then towards the end, that changed very much. Can we talk about the favorite person part? That quote always gets me because it was such a good callback to an earlier scene. I'm okay with you having 10 other people be your favorite, but you're always going to be my favorite person. Always. No matter what. This like sounds like nothing unless you know this whole story. So if you haven't read it and you're like, what's she getting all worked up about? There's also something that's great that Mariana usually adds in to all of her books, like these little nuggets of wisdom that don't come off preachy. They're usually just like little one-liners like, oh, I've always heard, and then insert cute little wisdom thing. So something that Galena had told her was that to win, I would have to be prepared to fail, have to be okay with the idea of failing. And I've never completely understood what she meant by that, because who the hell wanted to lose? I got her message now, and it had only taken me a decade to. Oh, how can I forget? I know I briefly talked about the Olive Garden scene, but his like very polite slamming to her father, which was totally deserved in my opinion. It was like this profession almost. What's the word? Like to profess. That's what I mean, okay? And he just like goes through explaining how hard of a worker she is. You should be proud of her for never giving up on her dreams. You should be proud of her for being true to herself. I've been paused, and in the 3 words that slayed me, I would be. Oh, God, there's so much that I want to say. I just want to sit here and quote the book to you, but I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. They're so good. They're so addictive. They're like crack freaking laced in the pages or something, because I went through this sucker so fast. Both times I just like obsessively read it. Could not stop. Completely addicted. If you guys loved it, tell me what your favorite quote is down in the comments. I'm going to have a comment. I'm not sure if I'll pin it or not, but my comment will be down there with some of my favorite quotes, because I have so many, but I don't want to weigh down the video just with me reading, and my camera's also overheating. And while you're down there, tell me your favorite Mariana Zapata book. I'm dying to know. I have a couple left of hers that I still want to read. I've been trying to pace them out so that I would have something to look forward to. If you guys did like this video, please do subscribe so you can see some of my future videos, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye.